Okay, so welcome to TechSoup Canada's Get the Most Out of TechSoup Canada's Donations Program. Again, I'm Laurie Smith. I'm the Donations Program Manager from TechSoup Canada. For today's agenda, we're just going to quickly go over what the Donations Program is, eligibility and guidelines, and that will help you understand how to make your orders. And then making a request and how to maximize your order, we're going to look at various examples of how to really make the most and give you some tips on that. And then we're going to leave lots of time for Q&A. So just quickly, what is the Donations Program? We have over 25 donor partners now and more than 300 products, so it's pretty overwhelming. We have products in all these different categories, so if you've only ever used Microsoft Office, we actually have all these other different things to offer. Our most popular products are ones you most likely recognize, such as Microsoft Office and Adobe, Norton, which is Semantic. These are some of our newer ones that we just wanted to let you know about because they're kind of moving towards the cloud, which is a theme we're seeing more and more in technology. So SlideRocket is actually what I'm currently using to use this presentation on, and GoToWebinar is what we're using. And Fluid Surveys, I'll be sending you a survey which I hope you fill out at the end. So these are some of our newer products. Also, I just wanted to mention that the Donations Program, it's a global thing. We're in 35 different countries. The main headquarters is in San Francisco, but in Canada we didn't actually officially launch until 2009, so just 2 years ago. Before that we were sort of a spillover from the US, but now there's three of us, three wonderful staff to make sure it's all running smoothly up here in Canada. So our real mission is to help you gain access to these technology products through the Donations Program, but we also want to build your capacity on how to use that because we really do believe that technology can help you have a bigger impact doing whatever it is you're doing. So just very, very quickly here, we do offer lots of great content and tips, and we scour the web. Tierney, our community manager, is constantly looking for great content, so we push that content out in our newsletter. This is our live Twitter feed, so this is a cool thing that SlideRocket does. I can embed a nice live Twitter feed. We also do these monthly events. If you're in the Toronto area, we do Net Tuesday events, so you can just go on our YouTube channel and watch the videos and see recaps. And our Learning Center, I just wanted to point that out. It's on our website, and we've created a nonprofit software checklist for you. That's to help you go through each of our categories and figure out sort of what are your basic tech needs. So we're really trying to help you figure out what to order from the Donations Program using that checklist. Most of you, I think all of you, are all registered already with the program, so I'm not going over this at all, but just quickly, this is how one gets qualified, which you've been through this process, and this is just to make sure you're a legitimate charity or nonprofit or library. And again, if you hadn't registered, you would register through that registration button. Otherwise, you're probably all quite familiar with the My Account and Login area. So we're going to go into that. So now let's move on to eligibility and guidelines. So the first thing I want to clearly make clear to everyone is a lot of people get confused that when they get qualified for the program, they think they qualify for all the products that are available. Well, actually, qualification is sort of a two-part process. The first part, so that first step you go through in registration, that is just making sure that you are actually an eligible charity or nonprofit. And then for the actual donors, it's a separate thing. They each have their own eligibility guidelines, and this is where the confusion sort of begins. So just to expand on that, the first step is qualifying your organization. That again is to make sure you're a registered Canadian charity, nonprofit, or library. So that just gets you in. And then as for our donors, each of them is different. They've all kind of set up their different restrictions and guidelines. So that's why when you log into your account, you kind of see, okay, I qualify for Adobe, but I don't qualify for Cisco, and there's different reasons for that we'll get into. You can read all of the different guidelines in our eligibility menu here, which I'll show you after. So the three main things that all of our donor partners look for, and this is how they base whether you qualify or not, is your budget. So how big is your budget, and what you do. So this is the activity code that you've chosen in the registration process. So this is really what they look at. So Adobe, for instance, your budget has to be under $5 million, and you have to be providing direct services. And then they also look at whether are you a nonprofit, charity, or library. And right now, if you're a nonprofit, it's hard to qualify for everything because the program's been set up for charities. And again, this has to do with the fact that it's global, it's based in the U.S., it's a categorical thing that we're working on. So we really are trying to work with our donors to expand eligibility to nonprofits in Canada. But right now, nonprofits really only qualify for Microsoft and Intuit, and then it's mostly available to charities. So we always tell people if you have a nonprofit registration number or a charity number to put in both or your charity number. Pretty much all of our donors restrict to religious organizations or any kind of discriminatory organization. And this is not to say if you do have a religious organization, you can actually qualify, but you have to be running some kind of program that doesn't require faith in a particular religion or belief. So we just ask for an extra questionnaire. Okay, so the guidelines. This is almost like the next step in eligibility. And this is really probably the part that's frustrating for a lot of you is like, how do you know how much orders you can put in for the year? Well, again, there's no real simple answer because each of our donors have set up their own guidelines. So for instance, Intuit, they only allow you 3 licenses per fiscal year, and I'm going to talk a bit more about fiscal year. As you can see, fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th, so it's coming up really soon. So basically, within that time frame, you can place a maximum of 3 orders for 3 licenses, and that's it for that donor. For each donor, it's different. Microsoft, on the other hand, they don't operate within a fiscal year, but they only allow you to put 1 order per year. And with them, you can get up to a maximum of 50 licenses. So it's a totally different process, and later on we're going to show you kind of how you would maximize that. But you really do have to go to. I'm just going to skip ahead. To this page, the eligibility page, to read all of those donor guidelines. So sorry, I'm going to go back. So now, what is fiscal year? Fiscal year end. As I mentioned, it's between July 1st to June 30th. So what this means is within that time frame, you can only order the amount of licenses that donor has said you can order. Now, this doesn't mean you can't order again. After July 1st, your account is reset, meaning you can order more products right away. So there's ways to take advantage of the fiscal year end, which is why we're encouraging people to put your in orders now for Adobe, because if you need more, you can order right away and after July. So we have quite a few donors that decide to go with this fiscal year. Adobe is the biggest one. Atlas Business Solutions, they do Schedule Anywhere. Citrix, who do GoToMe and GoToWebinar, which we're using, they have a fiscal year. So many more. So you might want to check out these products, see if you want to order them before June 30th, and then your account's set to 0 again. So let's put that all together. I'll show you how a guideline or eligibility would work with, say, Citrix. So here, this is their main guidelines. It's only available to charities and libraries, so notice nonprofits don't qualify. Your budget has to be under $5 million. You can only make 1 request per year, so just 1 license, that's it. And that's per fiscal year. So it has to, if you placed an order already last year on July 2nd, you can't place another order until this coming up July. And then again, it's not available to any discriminatory organizations unless you can submit a questionnaire if you're a religious organization. So, and again, this is the page that you want to become really familiar with to really read those guidelines. So again, it's in the eligibility menu, and there you just see a list of all the donors. We're going to go through it live together on how you check what you qualify for and the eligibility, so just hold up. I know there's probably a few questions. We're going to take more at the end, but is there any pressing ones right now? I'm just going to take a look. Yes, the presentation slides are going to be available later. Okay, and I see most of the other questions have been answered for now. So we'll wait till the next little break, and we'll move on because I'm going to do a live demo on the site of how you would request a product and maximize your order. So the checkout process. This initially started off as a 3-bullet point list and just kept expanding as I realized there's actually quite a few steps before you go to your checkout cart. So first to start though, before you do anything, before you even come to our website, we really highly recommend that you plan your orders really well. And again, this has to do with those pesky guidelines that only allow you to order once or twice a year or a certain amount of licenses. So think about what you need for the next year. Are you going to be hiring new staff? Is there a chance that you're getting that grant and that you'll need design software or more Microsoft Office? Things like servers and CALs, you need to think about all the requirements, and for that you probably want to work with someone who knows about that kind of stuff. But really think out what are your needs before you submit any request, because you don't want to make an order and then go, oh, actually I need one more license, and you can't make that order now for another year. So plan is our big message. And if you don't know what to order, we know this is often a problem because there's so many products. Work with a volunteer, or maybe you have someone who's pretty tech savvy on your board that can kind of assess your IT needs, and they can help you. Otherwise, that checklist that we have in our Learning Center should maybe at least help answer some of your basic questions on, do I need antivirus? Do I need a server? These kind of things. Well, we don't provide tech support necessarily. We just don't have the capacity. We'd love to. But you can always send an email to customer service, and they can certainly help you with those specific questions on donor limits and license limits and so forth. Okay, so the next steps, we're going to go live. I'm going to go to the website and log in and just show you the sort of best practice way that you can browse for a product and add it. So we're just going to quickly log in, review the guidelines. I'm going to check what I qualify for, and then I'm going to go to the product page and show you the quick checkout process. So switching live, so here I am going into my login. Oh, getting out of admin, and hopefully you remember your username and password, and that's just going to log in. So this page should look familiar. It gives you your contact information, and this is really what you want to find out, right? What is it that you qualify for? So here you can see that organization qualification, that first level. Yes, you qualify, and then here are these specific donors that I can get products for. So for instance, you can see I'm not eligible for Cisco or Intuit, but I can get all these other things. So say I want Adobe. So what I want to do is go to our favorite page, the eligibility page. And I'm going to look up what are the Adobe program guidelines. So what are the restrictions I'm up against here? So here I know I'm eligible for the program. So I'm going to go right down to guidelines. I'm reading through it, and here's the one I'm really looking for. I can get up to a total of 4 individual applications or 1 suite per fiscal year. So I need to check if I've done any orders for, during this time, and how much I have left to order. So for that, I'm going to scroll back up, go back into my account, and check my requests. And this gives you your order history. Now this is our test account, so we have quite a lot. I submitted this fake one yesterday for an Adobe product, so I know I made one recently, but I canceled that. But this is where you would check, and you would look under invoice and look at the date here. See, okay, well that was September 16th. That does fall within the fiscal year. I'm going to make sure that whatever that item was, it wasn't Adobe. It's Flickr, so okay, I know I'm okay there. I could go back and check all those other orders and just make sure that I haven't already fulfilled my my maximum. And so let's assume I haven't. I go, okay, great. I haven't ordered any Adobe this year, and I really want that Creative Suite. So sorry, I kind of skipped a step there. I searched by donor partner there. You could also search by category, but sometimes it's just easier to go straight to the donor you want. So here you get a list of all the products. So remember that guideline said I could get 4 individual ones or a suite. So a suite ends up being a little bit more expensive, but there's only 1 employee at my organization. I just need the suite because I only need it on 1 computer. So that's great. Here again, you can read the restrictions if you've forgotten them or you need to check. You can always go back to your request to check. You want to read, what the product entails, any technical requirements. Usually things should be okay, but for instance, I need Java and all this kind of thing. And now once, I'm satisfied, I'm good to go, you just add it to your cart. And here it says my item has been updated. And sometimes there's a link that pops up there saying go to your shopping cart, but if that doesn't pop up, here it is up here in the top right corner. You can see shopping cart, 1 item in my cart. So I'm going to click on that. And here it is, my Adobe. That's great. I'm going to check out. And here's another little issue that maybe some of you have had requesting products. You can only do 1 donor at a time. So if I wanted Adobe and Microsoft, I couldn't actually do that in this whole process. I'd have to check out and go back in. So here it's just asking that I understand there's an administrative fee. That does pay, that basically helps us function as an organization. That's what the admin fee is for the vetting, doing these webinars and all that other stuff. So it's going towards helping you, hopefully. Here again, you could review the qualifications, but at this point we know them pretty well. Verify order qualification. Okay, here's my shipping address, billing address, continue. And okay, so you could pay by manual invoice. Now, especially with the strike on, we'd encourage you not to do that because it really takes a long time to get the check and use slow mail, as we call it. So if you haven't signed up for PayPal, go for it. But you can just click on PayPal. You don't even have to have a PayPal account. You can pay by credit card. So there we go. Place your order. And it's going through. So that's, and now it takes me to my PayPal. So here's that option. If you don't have a PayPal account, you can continue with a credit card. Okay, so that's kind of the basic process. So just to review that, you log into your account, review your status and history, check the eligibility guidelines, then you search for the product. You can do that by going to the donor name or the type of product, and then that takes you to the product page and you just check out. Is there any questions at this point about that process? I see there are questions being answered. So here from someone, can I order from Adobe today and then Microsoft next week? And Jane just answered that. So yeah, you can, because Microsoft doesn't have a fiscal year end, you can do that. But remember that Microsoft does have that limit that you can only place one order per year. So this is where you'd have to go into My Requests and see what your orders have been that year. And if you've already placed a Microsoft order this year, then you have to wait a full year from that time of order till you place another one. Is any credit card accepted? I believe so. Yeah. And yeah, to clarify, Microsoft is only one order per year, but it's not limited to that July 1st, June 30th time. It's just whenever you place that order. So if you placed one today for the first time, you wait a full year until you can place the second one. And I'm going to show you an example of some Microsoft orders so you can really see how to make the most of it. Okay, just for time's sake, I'm going to keep going, but Jane's doing a great job of answering questions. Thank you, Jane. She really is the expert on this. Okay, so I've kind of chosen the two most popular products from our donations program. Adobe, for instance. How would you make the most of this one? Well, okay, good practice, review the guidelines, get to know those really well, and then if you know that this product has a fiscal year end, well, then you know that, say, if you were to place an order today and you filled your maximum by just ordering one suite and you still needed Photoshop for one other computer, then hey, great, you know that you can place another order pretty quickly. So let's take a look at this guy's order. So he ordered, this is just 2 weeks ago, they ordered 2 illustrators and 2 Photoshops. So they opted, instead of the suite, to get the 4 individual products. Now this could have been a really well thought out decision because depending on how many computers you have and what your needs are, that might be better than getting the suite, for instance, which would only be on one computer. So one license equals one computer. So that's where you want to be thinking about how you make these orders and thinking about how many computers you need, who the staff are, and so forth. And then the best part about this guy's order is because he's only done it 2 weeks ago, he can order all over again. His quota gets reset on July 1st. And now to add another layer to that, we have this new program called the Adobe Special Donations Program. And basically Adobe, I don't know how many of you currently qualify for Adobe, but they're quite specific about who they donate to. You have to provide direct services in particular categories. So this program, they take older versions and they make it available to more organizations. And it still operates with the same guidelines, but what it means is if, say, you already qualify for Adobe, you also qualify for this special program, which means you can order 8 individual applications or 2 suites. So it gives you twice the ability. And if you don't qualify for Adobe, you may actually qualify now. So check your account status, see if Adobe Special Donations Program has been clicked off there. Okay, Microsoft. We know Microsoft is very popular, and they are also the most complicated ones to order from. So I could probably do an entire webinar on Microsoft alone, but I'm going to just try to go over the main points. So I know a lot of you have had a few questions on Microsoft coming up. So here's the main things you need to know. So the way they phrase it is it's 2 orders within a 2-year period. So no fiscal year, and what this really means is 1 order per year. I don't know why they phrase it 2 orders within a 2-year period, but it's 1 order per year. And they give you quite a lot. You can get up to 50 licenses, but you can't do that with more than 6 products. And they also provide a minimum. I guess this is just to make their effort worthwhile. You have to have at least 5 licenses in your order. So you can get quite a lot, and you have to order at least 5 licenses. So, and I threw this in. If you do have very specific questions, our FAQ page is actually really helpful. Chances are the answer's in there. And if you need Windows 7 upgrade, on our front page of the website, you'll see that icon, and there's a bunch of answers there. So for specific questions, if we don't get to them all in this webinar about Microsoft, those are really two great resources. So, okay, moving on. How would you actually maximize your Microsoft order? So I'm going to show you two. This is the first one. This person has at least met the minimum, which is five licenses, right? So they've ordered 7 Office Professional Plus. And that's great. They've saved a lot of money. By doing that, you can see the difference between the retail value. But remember, you can only place the one order per year. So say you just needed one more. Well, you have to wait a whole year, and either that means you have to go buy it at the retail price, which is $500, or wait. So contrast that to these guys who, I think this pretty much is the maximum that you can do with Microsoft. As you can see, they've ordered 50 Office standards, 50 CALs, that goes with your server, 50 Windows 7 upgrades. So it's almost like they're setting up an entire organization or maybe launching a project. And here's where we love to see how much money you can actually save through the donations program. These guys saved over 40 grand by maximizing that Microsoft order. So that's pretty phenomenal. So this is where you want to plan and really think out your needs so that you make that one order count. So tips to remember to make the most of your requests. Get your order in before end of fiscal year, assuming you need some products, because then you can order again right away. So you don't have to plan as much ahead. But our big tip, which I've said several times, is make sure you anticipate your needs for the year, just because of those restrictions and guidelines. And then visit the eligibility page and understand those guidelines. Know how much you can order per donor that you qualify for. So clicking between your account status, your requests, and that eligibility page, those are the three areas that you really need to go to. And here, if you've met your maximum and you still need more, I just want to bring attention again to the Adobe Special Donations Program. It could help you get more Adobe. Just a warning about that program, though, it is a shared remainder stock, so it does run out really fast, so act fast. Right now we have Premiere Pro and Flash available. And Microsoft also has this thing called Microsoft Open Charity Licensee Program. So this is in addition to their donations to TechSoup. We are the more affordable option by far. But if you've ordered, say, those 50 licenses and you still need more, say you're a national organization and you have a lot of offices, then you can use this program. And that's the URL. If you Google the same term, you'll find that. And I think they offer their licenses for nonprofits for about $100. So it's more expensive than our donations program, but it's still much cheaper than going to Best Buy and buying Microsoft Office. So that's another option if you do need more. And that's really how you can maximize your requests. And then I won't go into this in too much detail either, but for those of you who've ordered and you're not really sure what to expect, most of our products, we have very detailed instructions in our emails about how to download and install the software. They often require license keys. It's really important that the email that you have in your account is up to date, because this is where we do send that information. So sometimes it goes into people's spam box and they say, I never received it, but it's there. And Microsoft is, again, a little complicated in how they work. You'll get that initial email saying, congratulations, your order went through, and we've mailed you this CD or DVD, and that's what you install, and then you have to actually get the license key from the volume license key site, and there's more details than that in your email. So the email really lays it out step by step. We've tried to make it as clear as possible, but again, you can always ask us questions. But that's the general what to expect when you do order Microsoft or other products. So again, my name is Lori Smith. I'm the pretty new donations program manager here at TechSoup. You can email me if you have questions. And I hope this webinar has been helpful for you. And you can always reach our customer service. They are fantastic at answering all your specific questions about order limits and this kind of thing. If you need to update your account, those are the people to reach. Do note our phones are closed on Wednesdays, and it's actually better to reach us by email than phone. It's the phones because they operate in San Francisco hours. It's a little hard to reach if you're in the East Coast. So now I'm going to, it's only 1:30, so it's great. We have lots of time for questions. And if you want me to demonstrate anything on the website, I can do that again. So take this opportunity to do so. Right now I am seeing that most of the questions have been answered. Thanks to Jane. So semantic, yes, it does have a fiscal year end.
So this is Jane here. I wonder, Lori, if you could maybe spend a little bit of time talking through some of the specific programs like Symantec, Cisco, or Microsoft.
So like their specific eligibility guidelines and so forth? So you know what, for that, let's go right to our website. So here again, we know our website isn't the best, but we're trying hard. So this is where you'll see, this is once I've logged in, right? I'm logged in, and once you're logged in, you can get all these categories and then the donor programs. So the best way to learn about our donor programs is just, well, actually this will lead you to the product page. So if you, again, click on eligibility, that's pretty much your best friend. So Jane, you wanted me to talk about semantic, for instance? I know that's come up. So semantic, here you can see it's registered for charities and the guidelines. So it's up to 2 semantic desktops and up to 100 licenses that can be requested within the fiscal year. So again, it's checking those guidelines and really knowing. And we do have, our FAQ really is a good resource on any of these programs. Oh, page not found. If I go to FAQs here, here's some detailed instructions. But then at the very bottom, just keep scrolling. Here you can see all our programs listed. So this is our renewal semantic program. So here you can find out details about the specific program. And if I go back, so we actually have 3 semantic programs. One is the desktop, one is the enterprise, and one is the subscription renewal. So the desktop is probably more for smaller nonprofits, whereas the enterprise is like for a bigger organization. So yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about things unless people have very specific questions. So the semantic renewal, if you already have a retail version that is expiring, then this is where you can use the semantic renewal program. So there you go. You can renew your Norton antivirus for $6. So that's what the renewal program is. And then if you want to request an entirely new program, then that's where you'd want to go to Semantic Desktop and say you need Norton Internet Security, only $7. That's where you'd get it and add it to your cart. Again, make sure to check the guidelines. It allows up to 100 licenses, so that's quite a lot. Any other specific questions? I know Microsoft, here's that Windows 7 Resource Center I was talking about for Microsoft. The main question we get here is it an actual operating system? And sadly, no, it's just an upgrade. So if you are currently working on an older operating system, you might as well upgrade to Windows 7, especially if you're working from Vista. So this is where you can get, this is where you can learn all about it. So yeah, Jane just reminded you too, it's just an upgrade. Anything else? Okay, well, that's it. I'm going to go back here and just remind you that we have Net Tuesdays if you're in the Toronto area. We have them every month. The next one's on July 12th. You can sign up at this URL, meetup.com/Toronto Net Tuesday. And then we also are doing this great Code Your Art Out competition for Microsoft, where we've gotten coders working with nonprofits to develop some cool applications. So we're going to see how that turns out on June 24th. And that's it for now. Thank you. I'm going to be sending a follow-up survey. I'd really love your input to know how we can improve this webinar, or if you have follow-up questions or anything. And if there's no more questions, oh, can you have the link for Meetup? Yes, I'll go back. There it is. Oh, sorry, I just saw the Linux. No, we don't have Linux, but it's free. This will also, oh, I forgot to put this presentation will be on our SlideShare account as well. And I've recorded the live demo I did, so you can see how that works. And it's also going to be on our website under Learning Center. Here's our Learning Center. If you scroll down to webinars, that's where all our webinars are. And this is that great nonprofit software checklist. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. And thanks everyone for your time. I really appreciate you attending, and please submit your orders before June 30th. Fulfill your maximum if you can. Thank you.